Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this video, we are going to talk about Captain America Civil War. Now, we've seen a few trailers for this movie, mostly all the same. Each one adds a little bit here and there, and they're slightly different, but I'm going to kind of talk about them in general, all as one topic. I don't need to break them up into separate trailers because that's not really important. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on some things and ask you for your thoughts, and then I'd like to talk to you in the comment section below. This is the first video of this variety that I'll be doing, so we're going to kind of just feel it out and see how it goes, and if you guys like it, we'll do more, and if you don't, then I might do more anyway and get you to like it, or I might stop. But anyway, the first thing I want to talk about in terms of this movie is that I think it's going to be the biggest and hopefully best of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I felt like the second Avengers movie kind of strayed a little bit from the formula that worked so well in the first movie. Even though it was a really good film, I still think the first one was the best. And I'm hoping this one kind of goes back to it, back to the formula that I like to make it the best out of all of them. And I think what will make that happen is if they focus on developing really good characters. And I think the problem with the Age of Ultron movie is even though Ultron's a really cool character, they spent most of the time dealing with the drones rather than Ultron. So it kind of took away from the epicness. It was just a whole lot of breaking robots. It wasn't as cool. Now, I know the first movie had a whole lot of breaking aliens, but there was something about it, the way they handled it, there was a lot more Loki, I think, than there was Ultron. Now, I didn't go back and measure minutes or anything like that, but that's the way it felt to me. So I'm hoping, since this movie is strictly character-driven, there's like no horde of enemies, at least as far as we know, it should be more character-driven and really good. That's my hope. And so, since it's going to be character-driven, I probably just made a lot of noise by banging the mic stand, but hopefully this works. And I think it'll work if they do this character development that I want. So the characters in this movie that I think are particularly noteworthy, first of all, we get to see Black Panther finally. And in the trailer, it shows him being really awesome. He's bounding over moving vehicles, tackling motorcycles. He's getting shot at by helicopters. He's fighting Bucky. He looks sweet, and he's basically comic accurate in terms of the outfit, just really like high-tech and upgradey looking. I'm really pumped for this. I don't even really care for Black Panther as a character. I think he's fine. But in the movie, I think he's going to be really, really cool. I'm a little bit worried about how they're going to work his story into it, because it seems to me like he gets involved fairly early on, at least based on the things we've seen. And so it's going to be kind of hard, I think, to develop his character other than he's just an awesome guy in an awesome suit. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I noticed in the trailer that I thought was cool was Scarlet Witch. And that's because we have to fight Vision in this movie. Vision was established in the last film as being really, really cool and really powerful. Well, if you put Vision up against somebody like Ant-Man, it's not going to work out too well. He's really strong. So the fact that they have Scarlet Witch to go against him, whose power is kind of generic in the movie so far, kind of vague. We're not quite sure what she can do. It's cool to see that she can do something, specifically fight Vision. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope that really has a cool dynamic going on. I think she was handled really well, but her powers were still kind of like, what exactly can she do? But it looks like she's going to be flying and fighting Vision and doing some cool stuff. So I'm really excited about that. The next two characters, I think they can kind of go hand in hand based on the clip we saw, are Ant-Man and Hawkeye. They both feel kind of underpowered. I mean, putting Hawkeye up against Iron Man, I mean, sure, you could have some excuses as to why he can do okay, but generally he's not going to be able to go toe-to-toe. Same thing with Ant-Man. I mean, he doesn't have the most useful power in the world. But I think they're going to handle it in such a way that it's going to be more clever. Having Hawkeye finally use the arrow to shoot Ant-Man as he's tiny, that's going to be really cool. I think if they handle them properly, then they won't feel like useless sidekicks. I know a lot of you guys like Ant-Man and like Hawkeye, so I'm not trying to say they're bad characters. They're just not quite top tier in terms of power and abilities. So I'm hopeful that they're handled well because they're cool in the movies. And I think as like a dynamic, a whole team dynamic, that'd be really nice to see. And then we finally get to see Crossbones in action. And he beats up Cap pretty well. Now, the thing about Crossbones is we don't know how much of a role he's going to have. Assuming that the superheroes are all fighting each other, since it is the Civil War theme, Crossbones won't be that big of a role. But I'm not sure, and I don't know if any of you are, but if you have any insight, let's talk about that. But he does look cool, and he looks like he's at least somewhat comic accurate. I don't know, we'll see. But it looks nice, so I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And then the last thing that I really want to touch on, because I know a lot of you are really excited about this, is Spider-Man. He is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper, not the side stories with Spider-Man and making bad movies. He's in there. A lot of people are complaining about the suit. A lot of people like the suit. I'm personally okay with it. I think it looks like it could be good. It looks a little bit unfinished. So I'm guessing the scene we see is about halfway through the film. That's my estimate, and I'm assuming he ends up with a better suit by the end of the film. It just seems a little bland up against everyone else's. I mean, Black Panther, who wears nothing but solid black, his suit has a lot more going on than Spider-Man, who has blue and red and black and all the other details. So I'm hoping his suit gets fleshed out a little bit. But it's cool the way they introduce him, and it's cool that he takes Cap's shield, and it's cool that they did the eye thing, the CGI eye thing, having him squint, and the black stays black, and then the white gets narrower. That's going to be really cool, very comic feel, rather than the Spider-Mans that we've seen recently. I was a big fan of the last spider suit that we saw on screen, but I think this one's going to work out, and I think it's Tom Holland, right? That's his name. I think he's going to do okay. He wouldn't have been my first choice, but I think it's going to be good, so we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious what you guys think about all of this stuff. And the other thing I want to ask you about is, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this movie? Is Bucky going to die? Is Cap going to die? Is anybody going to die? Maybe not. Who knows? I'm really curious to see how they choose to end this and to move forward with Infinity War. I think they have a huge opportunity here to make a great film and to be really interesting and to move forward from there. But I'm really hopeful that that is the case, and I'd like to know what you guys think about all those different topics. So make sure you put your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.